Hello, I'm Charles Reed Anderson, and I lead IDC's Telecom and Mobility Research. Today we're going to talk about one of the hot issues in enterprise mobility, namely security. In the second part of the video, we're going to speak with N S Amarnath, who's the Senior Vice President of Samsung's R&D Institute in India, to get his views on the topic and to try and understand what Samsung is doing to help customers on this enterprise mobility journey. So now we're going to talk about some of the key drivers in mobility. To start off with, it's about smartphone growth. And IDC forecasts that the number of smartphones sold in 2016 will reach 1.6 billion. Increasingly, these devices are finding their way into the enterprise, either through a Bring Your Own Device initiative or through companies issuing the devices. And what companies are going to do to respond to this is increase their spend in what we call mobile enterprise management. And this will include mobile device management, application management, information and content management. And what we actually see with this is it's about the consumerization of IT and IT's response. When you look at the enterprise mobility solutions ecosystem, it all starts with an end user who wants to access an application that resides in a device, whether it's a smartphone, tablet, or laptop. And that user wants to be able to use that device to connect back to their back-end infrastructure. And it's very important that that is done securely and normally through some form of middleware. And this creates a number of challenges for the enterprise. The first of which is around how that user does connect. How do you secure the authentication? The second challenge around this is securing data at rest, so the data that resides in the device. The third one is about data in transit, so the data as it goes over the air. And finally, it's around application security. And while these are the 4 high-level security challenges, there's literally dozens, if not hundreds of security risks that must be addressed with this. And that's a challenge for IT. So the challenge for the enterprise is how to balance the company objectives with the end user objectives. On the company's side, they have to make sure that any data and content and application that resides in the device is kept secure. From the end user perspective, if they're expected to use their personal device for work purposes, they don't want their company to have access to any of their personal information, whether it's their files, or their emails, or their photos. And to address this fine balancing act, we're seeing 3 key trends emerge. And the first one is the emergence of CYOD. Initially, there was an explosion in the number of devices, and companies thought they could leverage that by allowing these devices into the enterprise. But then they soon realized that this created numerous security challenges for them. To try and account for that, they launched mobile device management solutions that allowed them to control the device to an extent, but it didn't cover enough. So what's happening now is customers are actually looking at a CYOD model to replace BYOD. And with CYOD, or choose your own device, you limit the number of devices, which makes it easier to secure them and also to roll out the applications that will drive your future business onto those devices. The second trend that is emerging is around mobile enterprise management. And we mentioned this briefly earlier. In the early days, there was multiple point solutions. You had a mobile device management solution, a mobile application management solution, and even some had information management solutions and content management. What's happening now is it's moving away from the point solution into the platform play. So it's about providing a mobile enterprise management platform that provides all of those solutions in one. And the third trend we see is the containerization approach, which is exemplified by Samsung Knox. And this really does balance the best of both worlds. For the corporate, it allows them to secure the content and the applications that reside on the device. And for the end user, it keeps their personal information separate from the company information. And this balancing act is what really best meets the needs of both the individual and the company. So now I'd like to turn to Amar and get his views on the enterprise mobility solutions ecosystem and how Samsung is actually helping their customers address the challenges that they faced. Welcome.
Hi, Charles.
So the first question is, the technology required to mobilize business applications and solutions has been available for many years, but the customers haven't really been adopting it that quickly. What do you think has inhibited this adoption?
Well, I think most companies were actually caught by surprise, essentially because the speed of mobility adoption within the enterprise. People started bringing in their own devices, and they weren't ready to manage the proliferation of devices, essentially the consumerization of IT, and employees just connecting into the enterprise network all by themselves. So it took them time to catch up, figure out the right set of tools to use, and essentially put policies around this.
So as they do look to start to adapt, though, one of the main challenges they're going to be facing is security. So how has Samsung evolved its offering to help customers address the challenges they're going to face in the future?
So Samsung is helping customers by first building out a best-in-class security platform for mobile devices. Samsung Knox essentially provides multi-layered defense against various kinds of exploits on the network or on the device. That security platform is the basis for a platform to manage enterprise mobility in a flexible fashion, right, that allows enterprises to adapt.
So once the enterprise has actually secured the devices and the users, what they're going to look to next is some solutions. But what they're going to find is that largely a solution might involve bringing together multiple products from multiple vendors. So how can Samsung help with this?
Well, Samsung realizes that the real value of enterprise mobility is going to be going beyond just integrating devices into the enterprise IT network. It's really about application, content, and services being available on the devices to the right people and the right functions. And Samsung is extending its ecosystem to include partners and integrators who can help enterprises to address these exact problems.
Okay, very good. But if I'm the enterprise, my big concern is, well, it's the bottom line. So if I'm going to launch more mobility solutions, I want to know how it's going to help me drive revenues or reduce my costs. So what's Samsung's view on that?
We realize that enterprises are really looking eventually at using mobility as a strategic tool. It's not just a problem to be addressed the way it is seen today. We believe that getting to the point where it becomes a strategic tool involves first integrating existing devices, existing mobile devices into IT infrastructure, managing that in a stable fashion, putting policies around this, and getting this whole mobility thing under control and working right for the enterprise. With our secure platform and the tools and ecosystem around this, we can help enterprises get through this first step and have a flexible, secure platform at the end of it, on top of which they can mobilize their process and their strategic value.
So what you've just heard is a snapshot of Samsung and IDC's views on the enterprise mobility market, some of the challenges that are faced by the customers, as well as some of the solutions that are offered by Samsung to help those customers meet those challenges. There's obviously plenty more that we could go into, and we do suggest that you take a thorough assessment of your current mobility requirements and needs. Thank you very much for watching.